What is going on, everybody? Gino checking back in for another video today. It is 7 AM again, or 6:55 or something. Just woke up, about to go to the gym and train a client. Of course, it's time for a little physique update, since this is some pretty nasty ass lighting. So I just got done training my client. It's now time to do my cardio. I'm still fasted, but still going to be doing the cardio. I'm going to be doing the Stairmaster, and I only have to burn 225 calories since I spent a little bit more time on the cardio machine yesterday, and I want to hit my total of 1050 calories for the week. So let's make some steps. Right guys, so it's a couple of hours later. I'm already back home. I believe I did around a half an hour of cardio in a fasted state. Now, I've mentioned this on the channel before, but there is no single fat loss benefit to doing fast cardio. It's just my preference, since I'm already in the gym at 7:30 AM. So why not just do my cardio after that, get it out of the way, and move on with my day. Now, as of the past 3 days, I've actually been doing intermittent fasting again. Now, there isn't any fat loss benefit or muscle gain benefit for that particular by doing intermittent fasting. It's simply just a time schedule that I personally prefer at the moment for me to schedule my meals. So when I eat my first meal and my last meal. So I'm basically just postponing my breakfast to later on in the day. It is 1 PM right now, and I'm now starting to eat my first meal of the day. So there's no magic behind it. I'm just skipping the normal breakfast time and putting my first meal to later on in the day, so that I don't have hunger later on in the day. Now, what I've started to notice the past 2 weeks of this prep is that come nighttime I get very hungry, and I barely had any macros left after like 6 or 7 PM. So I was constantly hungry at night and thinking about food, and that actually made me quite miserable. So I started to notice that. So I just thought to myself, why don't I just do intermittent fasting again? I've done this a lot of times before during previous cutting phases, and it's something that I really enjoy, because when I wake up and just drink some coffee and some water, you know, get hydrated, I literally don't have any trouble or struggle with the hunger feeling. I barely even feel the hunger that I have up until the point that I have my first meal. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. I typically wake up at around 8 AM or maybe a little bit earlier than that. Depends on the day. I then drink a lot of water, drink some coffee, since coffee or caffeine in general suppresses your appetite. So it makes fasting a little bit easier. And then I just sip on water, sip on some coffee until it's time for my first meal, which is typically on a training day around 1 PM, and on a non-training day, so an off day, I generally push it towards 2 PM. So here is the first meal of the day. I have my usual Auburn bowl, but I added in 10 grams of almonds to give it a little bit more of an extra texture or taste or whatever, and to increase the fat intake a little bit for the first meal. Then I have the legendary Nutella sandwich with 30 grams of Nutella and a kiwi for the micronutrient gains. Alright guys, I am about to head to the gym. I'm going to be making my pre-workout drink, and it's getting pretty crazy, man. As of the past week, I'm actually starting to see some glute striations coming in. And quick disclaimer, I'm gonna post something on the screen right now, so if you're afraid to see man glutes. Please skip ahead a couple of seconds, but as you can see, some glute striations are definitely coming in. And it's crazy to think that I'm 7 weeks out of my first ever show, coaching myself, and I'm seeing glute striations. Like, I actually expected them to come way later during prep, but they're kicking in right now. I'm actually starting to notice some hormonal changes as well, definitely in terms of testosterone. It's a little bit lower than normal, and I'm noticing that a slight bit in libido. Now, it's definitely still up there, but I'm definitely noticing that it's lower than normal. Again, that's part of the game, and I expected it to happen. I knew that it would happen, and it will probably only go downhill from here, but like I said, it's part of the game. I have to accept that because there's nothing that I can do about it. But anyways, I just wanted to quickly update you guys on that. I'm going to be making my pre-workout drink right now and then head to the gym for a lower body workout. And this is where the magic happens. Let's smash a workout. Alright, so this is my second lower body workout of the week, which always revolves around the deadlift. You might be seeing a little change right here, but I actually switched out my conventional deadlift and my sumo deadlift in that particular for the stiff legged deadlift. I started noticing around 2 weeks ago that, or maybe even 3 weeks ago, that the normal deadlift was taking way too much energy out of me, and I actually needed a lot more time to recover from it. And especially regarding the fact that I trained the next day, I just couldn't handle it. Since I'm not going to be building any muscle during this prep, or in a caloric deficit in general, and in terms of muscle activation, I'm actually way better off doing a stiff-legged deadlift compared to a normal deadlift or sumo deadlift. Because I want to put the most amount of tension on my hamstrings and my glutes, and obviously the spinal erectors, but in order to stimulate the most amount of muscle, I decided to just skip the normal deadlifts and put the most emphasis on the stiff-legged deadlift. Then after that I moved on to the leg press. Now, since I don't really have a compound movement for my quads during this lower body workout, I utilize the leg press as a sort of compound movement, since I can pretty much load the exercise quite heavily, which allows me to still promote some overload on the muscle and put enough tension on the quads to reach my adequate volume threshold for the week. Did the leg press, then moved on to the hamstring curl. Now, on this particular day, I go a little bit lighter and I try to hit the 12 to 15 rep range. So on my first lower body day of the week, I go a little bit heavier in the 8 to 10 rep range to promote some overload. And then on the second lower body workout of the week, I go a little bit lighter, control the movement a bit more, and then strive to hit 12 to 15 reps. And after that, moved on to the leg extensions. Now, this day is a little bit less quad focused, so for this exercise I actually pick a little heavier weight and then strive to hit again that 8 to 10 or 12 rep range, depending on how much energy I still have left in the quads. After that, moved on to some ab work. Now, my favorite exercises for abs are the hanging leg raise for the lower abdominal region and the cable crunch for pretty much overall abdominal stimulation, but with the most emphasis on the upper part of the abs. So in terms of overloading the abs, I pick the cable crunch once per week, and for overall lower abdominal stimulation, because they don't really get stimulated with a lot of abdominal exercises, I pick the hanging leg raise. Now, those exercises can be pretty tough to feel in the abs in the beginning, but trust me, if you build up very slowly and gradually in weight, and for example with the hanging leg raise, starting with the knees and then moving on to straight legs and so forth, you will feel it in your abs tremendously. So just build it up very slowly, as you should be doing with all other exercises in general, because you know, form is king above weight, especially in the beginning. I moved on to some calf work. Now, my gym doesn't have a seated
calf raise. So I just try to emulate the movement by putting the Smith machine on the lowest setting and then simply performing a calf exercise that has weight loaded on the knee, since that is when you put the most emphasis on the soleus calf muscle instead of the gastrocnemius. Because in case you guys didn't know, the calf actually has two muscles. It has the gastrocnemius, which is most stimulated when your legs are in a straight position or when you're standing straight up, like for example with a calf raise machine or with a Smith machine. And the soleus muscle, which is mostly stimulated when your legs are in a bent position around 90 degrees with weight loaded on the knee. So on my first lower body day of the week I have the standing calf raise, and on the second lower body day of the week I have the seated calf raise to get the best calf development that I possibly can. So I actually did some hip thrusts after the stiff-legged deadlifts, but I didn't record those, so this is my lower body 2 workout, and enjoy the rest of the vlog.
Alright, so workout complete. That's at home, and I have the post-workout meal. Alright guys, so the post-workout meal, I have around a full serving of spaghetti with the sauce and all counted in towards the macros. 200 grams of mixed frozen berries with a little bit of cinnamon for some extra flavoring. And of course, not to forget, I'm going to dump this entire tub of quark on top of the spaghetti. No, I'm just kidding, on top of the fruit. Alright, so I just had a huge meal, and that is one of the perks of intermittent fasting. You know, you can allow yourself to have bigger meals, and especially later on in the day, which actually allows you to be less hungry during the day. I know, I said it before, it sounds very counterintuitive, but it is true. You know, you eat bigger meals later on in the day, and especially surrounding the workout, you tend to be less hungry afterwards, since you can fill up on quite some food. So this is the way that I like to do it as of now. And I also notice in my mood, because I'm way less hungry right now, that I'm actually a little bit more happy. I really started to notice that I was getting very irritated when I got hungry, and especially later on in the day. So so far it's something that I really enjoy to do, and I'm definitely going to be continuing to do this pretty much till the end of prep, I believe. Alright, so in terms of nutrition, the only important aspect that you really have to nail down first before you think about all of the other small stuff is the basics. Tracking your macros, tracking your caloric intake, setting yourself up appropriately towards your goal, so eating in a caloric deficit to lose fat and eating in a caloric surplus to gain muscle. And then comes all the small stuff. So for example, whether you like to meal prep for the entire week, intermittent fast, utilize flexible dieting, eat 100% clean, eat keto, eat paleo or whatever. Those are the things that do not have a direct impact on the results that you're chasing after. So for example, someone who does intermittent fasting and someone who eats paleo will get the same exact results if they nail down the basics. So if they both want to gain muscle, they have to be in a caloric surplus, otherwise they won't make any progress. So it's not the individual food source or the way that you schedule your meals that will have the determining effect on your results. It is the caloric deficit or the caloric surplus in total. So the net caloric intake over the day or even over the total of the week. So stop stressing about all that small stuff, man. You know, nail down the basics and then choose your preference with how you schedule your meals. So if you want to fast, go ahead, fast. If you want to eat 100% clean, if you want to prep all your meals for the entire week in one day, then by all means go for it. Just nail down the basics and be sure that you're in a caloric surplus if you want to gain muscle, and obviously eat enough protein, and in a caloric deficit if you want to lose fat. That's all there is to it, and the rest is all personal preference. Alright, and that is all for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to smash the like button, because it really helps out the channel grow. Comment down below and subscribe to the channel for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out, guys. Thank you all so much for the positive support lately, and peace out, guys. See you in the next one.